What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Pace Studio here in Midtown Manhattan, New York City. We are here with a very special guest today and an unusual presentation for us, but one that we're really excited about and proud to have. With us today is Parul Shah. Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to Pace.
Thank you so much.
Parul is an exquisite dancer. She is the leader of her own dance company here in New York, the Parul Shah Dance Company. And Parul and the company are going to be performing on December 10th as part of the Indo-Jazz Festival at Lincoln Center. Jazz at Lincoln Center is hosting it. And we're really excited and, we're very proud to have you and to see some of the amazing dance that you're going to be presenting at Lincoln Center on December 10th. So I know today Parul is going to be performing two excerpts of one piece of dance that will be presented as part of the Indo-Jazz Festival on December 10th. Yes. So after all of that build-up, Parul, tell us a little bit about these pieces of dance and the first one that you're going to do for us today.
Sure, thank you, and thank you so much for having me. So the piece is a 20-minute solo work. It's accompanied to 3 musicians. There's a violin, cellist, and a tabla, which is the North Indian drum, coming from Persia. And the piece is called Enduring Silence. Just to briefly tell you what it's about is it's taken inspiration from women all over the world, particularly in Asia and in Africa, who face inequalities, abuses under the canopy of tradition and culture. So it's just to bring awareness, to create empathy.
Lovely.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. We're going to cue the music. And whenever you're ready. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to ask you about this beautiful dance that you're presenting for us today, and some of the tradition to it and the context of it as it appears in this Jazz at Lincoln Center production. So, first, so I know that you have your own dance company here in New York, and the style that I believe that you sort of specialize in, or you present mostly, is the Kathak style of Indian classical dance, and that is one form of Indian classical dance. Tell us a little bit about how it sort of fits in with the form in general.
Okay.
And take a breath, please, too.
Yeah. So let me first talk a little bit about Indian classical dance.
Sure, yeah.
Some might know, some might not know, but Indian classical dance is embedded in Hindu philosophy. So all of the classical dance forms, about 7, 8 actually right now, evolved with this intent of telling stories based on Hindu mythology. Mm-hmm. Each form has a very codified language, which is generally based on the intent of connecting the mind, body, and spirit. So that's an aspect that I really connect with in Indian classical dance. Also, something important that all the classical dance forms share is this idea of being able to take your art to help you attain a higher level of being, which is called moksha. It's something very definitely hard to achieve, but I think that is an important goal for myself as an artist. And why I say that is because I do a lot of contemporary work, but these two principles I carry with me when I'm even creating my new work, my contemporary work. The reason why I do contemporary work, or why I've stepped outside of this language, which is very rich, it's very deep, it has so much to offer. It's the form that I do dates back to about 1550 BC. So it's a very, very old form, and it evolved, as I had mentioned, the intent of telling stories based on Hindu mythology. And I felt that I wanted to tell my own stories. And so when I started creating, I noticed that my body was moving in a way that stepped outside of the language. And I thought it's okay, because overall it's an art form. And the idea, the intent behind it is to express. Yeah. And so that's how I began my journey on creating my own movement vocabulary. I say that kind of with... it's hard to say anything that's your own or original, because, we're influenced by everything we hear, we see, this conversation. So I don't know what exactly original means, but, just trying to express myself on my own terms, creating my own voice. So that's kind of how I started developing this language of mine.
I'm sorry, can I ask, in terms of the tradition of the Kathak style and the Indian classical dance, is there, through the years, through the ages, is that a style of dance that has lent itself to improvisation, or to the artist being able to step outside maybe of the tradition even a little bit, and to expand the parameters of it? Absolutely. I think so there, as I said, they're very clear parameters of the form. Yeah. And so I think there have been generations and generations of Kathak dancers who are creating within the form, right? Yeah. So the creation is there. And now there are many, it's not just myself, there's so many Kathak and just South Asian contemporary dancers that have felt the need, like myself, to step outside of the boundaries. So, everyone, each artist is always bringing something new to the form. But I think when you call it contemporary, it is because you're stepping outside of those clear parameters. Right. Is that a relatively modern phenomenon, stepping outside? I mean, was it many, many hundreds of years where there was rarely no stepping outside of those boundaries? Absolutely, but I definitely think like the past 30 years, people have started to create on their own terms and not just stick to the dance form. It's very similar to ballet and how modern dance evolved from ballet.
it's exactly the same. And for me, it was really about the stories rather than the form. So this piece that I'm doing it's a combination of Kathak and contemporary.
Right.
So it's like this ebb and flow throughout the piece, and it's not something that I was thinking about. Oh, this is Kathak that I'm doing. Oh, this is contemporary. It's just that this is what the piece needed at the moment.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting. And so tell me a little bit about how everything that you just said basically fits into the context of this presentation that's happening at Lincoln Center on December 10th. It's the Indo-Jazz Festival. Mm-hmm. And I think the aim of the festival is to do a little bit of what you were just talking about in another way, taking the traditions and the vocabulary of Indian music, Indian classical dance, and marrying it with a more Western jazz improvisational music.
Right.
So tell me how your presentation kind of fits into that mission.
So I think how I fit into this program, I'm not doing jazz. And I'm actually not fusing forms together. So I'm not taking ballet or tap or any other form, modern, and putting it with my form. What I'm doing is I'm taking Kathak and contemporizing it to life of today, to present situations and experiences, to be able to express my own identity as a South Asian American identity. And I think this program is really about the new voices. You know, what people are doing they're taking these ancient, amazing forms and adding their voice to it. So I think that's how I fit into the whole.
How did you come to be involved in the program?
So I was asked to present this
Simple
piece.
Enough.
Yeah, it's a relatively new piece. I just premiered it in August. So it's new.
Yeah. How long have you been performing it?
So this is going to be, I think, my third time presenting it.
Okay.
Yeah. So me and the violinist Trina Basu, she and I have been collaborating on it for a little over a year now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. So there is a second part to this piece. Parul is going to be performing. It's two excerpts of one piece. We saw the first. This is the second. I don't know if there's anything specifically to set up this part of the thing.
Yeah, so this is a 20-minute piece, so there's a lot you're not seeing. But there's what just happened before this excerpt is showing the violence that many women endure, and how they go on. They endure and they go on. So this part is the enduring.
Okay. Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you.
That is really an amazing piece of dance. As a layperson, I'm impressed right off the bat that you are able to stand still and not fall over from the spins at the end of it. I'm also very taken, and clearly I am speaking as someone who doesn't have a lot of experience with the form, but it's a very rhythmic and oral style of dance, clapping and stomping feet. It's something that it's not quiet and passive. It is very sonically present, which is sort of fascinating and great for our room here. It's sort of amazing. Also, this is a first for us in many ways, not just in our presentation of dance, but this is the first time that our viewers and myself have ever seen our floor. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, so Kathak dancers, we're musicians. So everything that you heard, like all the footwork, as I said, this piece it's traditional Kathak as well as contemporary. But as a Kathak dancer, you're trained as a musician. It might be interesting for you to hear like some of the rhythms that we speak. So I do a lot of teaching. So I teach how to speak these rhythms. And when we're speaking them, it always has to be within a time cycle. So there are many, many different time cycles. The most common time cycle is a 16 beat. So do you want me to recite something?
Sure.
It might be interesting.
Yeah.
So, okay. Na den den na na den na na den na na den dhagi dir ke da dir dhagi dir ke da dir ke da dir dhagi dir ka dir dhan de ta na de ta taran na de ta dir da dir dhan dhan da taran na de ta dir da dir dhan dhan da taran na de ta dir dhan dhan da. So we have so many compositions like that.
Yeah.
And each composition we are able to speak. And when we speak it, it has to be within the rhythm.
Right.
So if it doesn't come back on the number one beat, that means we've done something wrong.
Has gone amiss.
Exactly.
And so the rhythms that you were just speaking, those then are translated to the rhythms that are made by either your hands or your feet?
Both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the course of a piece, one or the other, but in a combination.
It's a combination. So like the dhagidira would be like dhagidira, and then I need this hand.
Yeah, right.
There's a jump. There's just a combination of everything.
And so is that something that, across the various styles of dance through cultures, do you know, is that something that is fairly unique to Indian classical dance in terms of speaking the rhythms, having that in your mind, and then performing those rhythms?
But I would say Kathak, from all the classical dance forms, is the most rhythmic. So Kathak is known for its turns and its footwork. Yeah, both of which we saw on display in front of us. Yeah.
And what was it about? So Kathak, I know, is just one of several styles that go back centuries. Classical forms that go back centuries. What was it about that one that lured you, or what is it that you concentrate on with that style? I started as a child, so I think I was 6 or 7. It was definitely the turns. It was the turns.
It was the turns. Yeah, I loved the turns. But I love many forms, particularly this East Indian form, Odissi. I feel that form is very holistic. And I love using the body. So that's something I really instill in my own practice when I'm creating. I love rhythm as well, but sometimes I feel Kathak can just become all about the feet and all about the turns. But I'm really trying to, and that's what the dance forms all are about, is that connection to yourself as well as to your spectator.
Yeah, fascinating. So everyone, this is Parul Shah. And Parul is the leader and the head choreographer of the Parul Shah Dance Company, which is based here in New York City. And she will be performing on December 10th at Jazz at Lincoln Center as part of the Indo-Jazz Festival. And some of the dance that we saw here today will be performed in a more expanded, I think.
Yeah, it's a 20-minute piece.
It's a 20-minute piece. So we saw sort of little chapters of it.
Yes, and it'll be accompanied to live music.
And it'll be accompanied to live music, and you said tabla, cello, and violin makes up that group.
Yeah.
So everyone, definitely check out the program on December 10th. And if you want to learn more about Parul and her dance, you can go to kathakdance.com. That's Kathak dance.com. And you can find her there, and you can find her at Lincoln Center on December 10th. So, Parul, thank you so much for coming to Paste and dancing for us in our studio, which is a first for us. And we very much appreciate it. And hopefully, as a New Yorker, you can come back and dance for us again.
Would love to.
That would be great. Thank you so much.